guys, it's Carrie with Rockin' G Farm, and today on the farm we're here in the kitchen. We are set to get started on our Christmas cookies for Christmas exchanges and goodies for the Christmas season. So today the cookie that I have found is in the book "'Tis the Season," and over 100 kid-friendly cookies, bars, and candies to make throughout all the holidays. So if you have children in your home, it'll be a good book for you. But I found a very great cookie recipe in here. It is called Brownie Cookies. So that's a new one for me today, and we're going to start that one here on the farm. So guys, if you are new to our channel, thanks so much for joining us. We thank you so much for giving us support for our channel by watching and commenting and giving us those thumbs ups and those shares. And if you've not subscribed yet, just go ahead and hit that subscription notification and you can subscribe for free. So hit that notification bell right there beside the subscription button and you will be notified each time we upload a new video. So guys, let's get started for our cookies for our cookie exchange tomorrow, and we're going to do the brownie cookies. Okay, friends, the first thing we do for our brownie cookies, we are going to find a little shallow pan to put some pecans in to brown them in the oven. So I've got my pan, has a little bit of sides on it so the pecans won't go flying into the bottom of the oven when I try to stir them. But I'm also going to walk right over here and turn the oven on to 350 degrees. Okay guys, this is going to be a little loud, so watch out. I'm going to open up my pecans. Whoop, a little loud. Okay guys, what we're going to use, we are going to use 2 cups of chopped pecans. So we are going to get those 2 cups, open them up. I would love to have a pecan tree. My father-in-law used to have 2 pecan trees on his property, but then one of them died and you have to have a pollinator, so we don't have a pollinator for the other pecan tree, so we don't get pecans all the time. But he would bring me bags and bags of pecans, but we don't have that opportunity right now on the farm, but hopefully soon in the near future we'll get some new pecan trees planted out here on the farm. So that is 1 cup of chopped pecans. Mine are like in bigger pieces. I would rather have bigger pieces than smaller pieces. So if you would rather have small pieces, go ahead and chop them. But I think just the little normal half size will be enough. Will be all right also. Okay. There is another cup. So we have 2 cups of pecans ready to go into the oven. I'm going to let my oven continue to preheat to 350 and then we'll put those in the oven there. Okay guys, while I am waiting for the pecans to go in the oven, I'm going to set them out of my way and we're going to start chopping some chocolate. So what we need now for our chocolate, we need 4 ounces of unsweet chocolate chopped. And when they say unsweet chocolate, they are talking about your baking chocolates. We are also going to have chocolate chips, but this one specifically is for the baking chocolates. And the one that I find at my local grocery stores is usually always the baker's chocolates. Last year I did go to another store that was in another town and I was able to find the Godiva chocolates, but they didn't have any of that here locally. So I just went ahead with the baker's chocolates, and we need 4 ounces, and that is usually 1 of the boxes. And this is unsweetened chocolate. And we are just going to start chopping. They have little grooves in them so you can break them apart. If that's easier, you can do that. Also, they have like how many ounces in here, so it'll say like a quarter of an ounce on the chocolate itself. So if you happen to use like half of the block, you'll still be able to weigh it or know what it is if you don't have a kitchen scale. So we're just going to go ahead and start chopping up this chocolate. Okay guys, my oven has preheated to 350 degrees. We are going to put your pecans in the oven for 6 to 10 minutes. I'm going to stir them up anywhere between, but we're just going to get them lightly toasted. I'm going to put a timer on so I won't forget to come over here and stir them up. I am going to put my 4 ounces of chopped chocolate into a medium saucepan with a heavy duty bottom on it so that we can melt our chocolates. Okay, so we've got our 4 ounces of baker's chocolate, unsweetened baker's chocolate on there. We are going to add 1.5 cups of chocolate chips, semi-sweet chocolate chips, and we're going to add 1.5 cups of chocolate chips to this saucepan. There's one. And 1/2 cups of semi-sweet chocolate chips. Now we are going to put some more chocolate chips in. Let's see. In just a second, we're going to put some more chocolate chips in, so I'm going to keep this handy. Semi-sweet chocolate chips, and we have the 4 ounces of unsweetened baker's chocolate in here. We are going to add to that butter, and we are going to add 4 ounces of butter. This is salted butter, but I always use salted butter in all of my baking. That's just what I like. I don't like the flavor of unsalted butter, so that is why I always use salted butter. So 4 ounces. So this is 4 ounces, and we are just going to put that in this saucepan. I will cut it in half though, just to make it a little, or give it some chunks, just to make it a little bit easier for it to melt and won't take so much time to melt. So 4 ounces of baker's unsweetened chocolate, 1.5 cups of semi-sweet chocolate chips, and 4 ounces of butter, salted or unsalted. Now we're going to move over to the stovetop to melt our chocolates and our butter. Okay guys, our timer is fixing to go off on the pecans that need to be stirred that are in our oven. So let me go ahead and do that real quick before we melt our chocolate. Okay, so we'll let those toast. Probably let's do 2 more minutes. Okay, let's wait for those. Now I'm going to get the chocolate and get it ready for the stovetop. Okay, so I believe, oh yeah, our pecans are nice and toasty. They've got a little bit of golden brown on them, so we know they have got that good roasted taste for them. Okay, so let me get them out of the oven. Set those right there while we're up here at the stovetop. I am going to leave the oven on 350 so that it will be ready when we need to bake the cookies. As you can see, the chocolate is melting very wonderfully. Almost done, probably about 5 more minutes. chocolate is melted, so we are going to bring it over and add it to some of our cookie mixture. So let's get started. Okay guys, now we're going to need another bowl and some measuring utensils. So what we need now, we are going to stir in flour, baking powder, salt, in a medium bowl. So we need 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. And I'm just going to, hopefully my half cup will fit in here. That's 1. And 1/2 cups of all-purpose flour. Let's move this out of our way. Okay, now we need our baking powder. Baking powder is always going to be the one that's usually in the little can. Baking soda is in the orange box usually. Okay, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. Just want to make sure that you don't have any clumps in it. And then we are going to add salt. And for the salt, we need 1/2 teaspoon. Of our salt. We're going to mix that together. And so I'll use a little whisk to make sure that all of our dry ingredients are mixed really well together. We don't want to accidentally have one area where there is a big bunch of salt or a big clump of baking powder. And then to the dry mixture, we are going to add eggs, sugar, and vanilla. And so we have 4 eggs, and I will crack them into a different container because they are fresh eggs straight out of the chicken coop, and we don't want to accidentally have a bad egg and put it into our mixture and then accidentally ruin our whole cookie mixture. I am going to have to mix this up in my big mixer because I don't think my hands are going to be strong enough. Okay, so we're going to use my KitchenAid mixer, and I'm going to put this all together in that bigger bowl. It's going to help me out just a lot there. Okay, now I need to add sugar. And we are using 1.5 cups of granulated sugar. Okay, so there's 1 and 1/2. So that's 1.5 cups of granulated sugar. And we'll get our paddle to mix that up. And along with that, we are going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. So now what we're going to do, we are going to mix this up in this mixer here on low. We don't want to have too much flour didn't plug it up. So we're just going to mix it on low. Okay, so we're now going to just start putting in the chocolate. I guess a well-used cookbook is always going to have a little bit of ingredients left on them, or stains from ingredients. Okay, so we're going to mix this just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to stop this. I'm going to put it down just for a second. And we are going to use a spatula and just kind of scrape the bottom of the bowl, a little bit of the sides, to make sure that all that chocolate is getting incorporated to everything that is in the bottom of that bowl. Let's put that back up. Now we are going to add 1 1/2 cups of chocolate chips. I keep the recipe that's on the back of the chocolate chip bag, so that in case I can't find my chocolate chip cookie recipe, I'll always have one available. I do that also with cornbread recipe off of the back of the cornmeal bag, so that I will always have a recipe around and not have to go and hunt for one in a recipe book. So that was 1 1/2 cups of chocolate chips, and then we are going to add our toasted pecans with that. And remember, this was 2 cups of toasted pecans. I'm getting chocolate all over my hands. I got it on my bowl, on my mixer, everywhere. Okay, so let's mix this up so we can get these cooking. Okay guys, we've got it all mixed up. It looks amazing. I went ahead and cleaned up while that was mixing up, because everywhere I touched, I was getting chocolate everywhere. Everywhere I touched, there was chocolate. So our oven is still on. It is ready for the cookies to go into the oven. So I've got 2 cookie sheets back here. We are going to place some parchment paper on those before we put our cookie dough down. So we have 1 here. And it's okay if you get a little too big, just go ahead and fold it over. It's perfectly fine. So let's go ahead and get our paddle out. And our thing. I'm going to move this over back to the counter so it will be out of the way. And then we are going to start putting these on our cookie sheets. So we want to do, okay, 2 tablespoonfuls 1 inch apart. And just by that, I got chocolate on my book. Yay! I cannot believe I've got chocolate everywhere. I think I got it off that when I... So this is a great recipe to start or to use if you want chocolate everywhere. If you have somebody who just gets really fizzy and upset about having dirt or something on them, this would be a great recipe to use because you'll get stuff all over them because it's everywhere. Okay, so we are going to use our handy little scooper and we are just going to start scooping out these wonderful brownie cookies. Now remember, key word is brownie, so they are going to be kind of the the softness of a brownie. If you want them to be any softer, just leave them, don't cook them as long. I just want to make sure that they have that real good crunchy outside that you get on the edges of the brownie that touches all of the pan. That is absolutely wonderful. So that's about, I don't want them to get too close. We're going to spread them out the first time and see how much they spread. And then if they don't spread quite too much, we can add more to our next cookie sheet. So we're just going to go ahead and do this. Okay, guys, we've got our first batch of brownie cookies ready to go into the oven. And we are going to put them in for 10 minutes. So in 10 minutes, we'll be right back and see how they look. Okay, let's check these cookies out. Ooh, they are big, fluffy. Definitely the consistency of a brownie. I think I will leave them in for probably 1 more minute. And we'll see how they cook from there. They're really cakey. They feel kind of like a brownie, like what we were expecting with the name of the cookie. So this is going to be so exciting because this is the first time I have used this recipe. Super, super excited to see how it turns out. So we're doing 11 minutes now for the grand total because we put them in for 10 minutes for the first time. But if you always want a more soft, pliable cookie, you can leave it in for less time. But I think these are going to be absolutely perfect for brownie cookies. So now we're going to put them on a wire rack to finish the cooling process, but these look amazing. I think they would go great with milk or ice cream. Look, oh, they smell exactly like brownies do. So I think that this will be a new favorite for our family, and hopefully it will be a new favorite for yours also. So let's see how much this says they're going to make. It says it will make 30 cookies. It takes it takes 1 hour hands-on time to make and a 1 hour grand total for the whole process of making all the cookies. I think it's great, wonderful. I think these are going to be a great hit for our cookie exchange tomorrow. Well, guys, that's all that we have here on the farm for today. Thank you so much for joining us as we are starting our cookie exchange series. So tomorrow we will have our brownie cookies at our first cookie exchange. Thanks for joining us, and make what you have beautiful.